Welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. Have gamers gone soft? This is kind of an interesting question because they weren't really all that hard to begin with, let's be honest. It was a nerdy group of guys, but let's look at ads. This is video game ads. We'll start off looking at some of these classic ads from sort of early 2000s. So this is De Katana. Anyone remember that? John Romero, man. He was known for going around with like a... I think he had like a Ferrari or something, some sort of car. Or maybe that was John Carmack that gave it away his Ferrari. I could be thinking of something else. But yeah, De Katana didn't get well. I'm not going to read this out because of YouTube, and it's pretty early on. But kind of an interesting ad. Very aggressive. You know, nowadays that would kind of seem like maybe it's, that might be a little, a little bit off-putting. And then, of course, so many of these early ads had women in it. Seriously distracting, kind of implying that he'd rather be playing Game Boy than keeping this lady company. And then, of course, are you sure you want me to wear this? Oh, an advertisement for Tomb Raider 3, which just came out with its remastered. Dressed up as Lara Croft there, like clearly happy to see her. This is inappropriate by today's standards for a different reason. As we can see, Donkey Kong Land here, advertised for the Game Boy. That's actually a Nintendo ad, by the way. Kind of odd to see. Like this isn't inappropriate, but it's kind of cool. Death has never been faster. Guy with a cool car. Eidos had some pretty cool ads back in the day. Of course, another one that's kind of implying women in bathing suits. There's another Nintendo ad. Susan, yeah. And there's I love this one. I remember he couldn't keep his hands off me. That's a guy he's really enjoying that video game. Seems to be a very common thing. Game Boy more fun than a ferret down your trousers. I do like that. This isn't necessarily, sexual at all, but I do like the idea, like, there's Spyro, Crash, Bandicoot, Sonic. It's like Taz, the Tasmanian tiger. Or, sorry, Ty. I can't even remember his name. That's how bad it ended up doing. Like kind of taking pot shots at your competition. There's definitely a masculine energy in these advertisements. Oh man, size doesn't matter. One of the most complex fishing games to date. Even the fishing games were getting in on it. My goodness, I like this. I just like this because please get the guys who made cartridge games a cigarette and a blindfold. Like Final Fantasy VII is going to destroy it. 20 years later, I don't think disc games really came out on top. I don't know. For a while there, it looked like a thing, but now even they're going away. As games can't hold the 500 gigabytes that modern games are now on. But let's move on. We're talking about that was the old era. Now we have this. You see, the new Tomb Raider Remastered came with a warning label that says this game is a collection and contains offensive depictions of peoples and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices. These stereotypes are deeply harmful and inexcusable and do not align with our values at Crystal Dynamics. Rather than remove this content, we have chosen to present it here in its original form, unaltered, in the hopes that we may acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it. Well, somebody thought, you know what, this thing is pretty annoying. This little screen at the beginning kind of, their Crystal Dynamics little struggle session here as they release a popular remastered, which, by the way, this remastered, the last time I heard it, sold 1.8 million. So people really like it. Someone decided to make a mod to remove this. Remove misinformation warning. Which, you know what? To be fair to Nexus Mods, why label it like this? Remove misinformation warning. Mod removes Crystal Dynamics' incorrect message about the game supposedly being offensive. If you felt offended by the warning, this mod is for you. Yeah, see, that seems like a little bit, how do I say it? Like confrontational? Like, why not just label this like intro, remove intro or something like that? Remove intro message. Like, then this helps speed you up by removing annoying intro message or like intro message that you see every time. That might have been able to slip through. So in some ways, like Nexus Mods is clearly lame for removing this mod because people didn't want to see this stupid message. But at the same time, maybe try to be a little smarter about how you label these things. Like, it doesn't need to be confrontational every time. Like, this is, I think, where people get in trouble with this kind of stuff. But clearly Nexus Mods has an issue of doing this. And of course, last week we went over this one. Game Banana removed this busty Yukari mod, which is, enhanced model on one of the female characters. And then, of course, they said that no, wait, I don't think I have. No, wait, I think it was. No. What the heck? Did I lose it? I guess I might have lost it. Oh, well. And then, of course, Game Banana said, it's sexualizing a minor kind of crap, which they were clearly proven that, the game is. The game has stuff like this. It's a Japanese anime game. Kind of goes with the theme of the game itself. And they pointed out several Genshin Impact mods that are still on Game Banana that clearly violate their own policy. It just comes with the territory, guys. Comes with the territory. And then someone mentioned this render here, Lara Croft. This is the remastered Lara Croft back in form. Peak form here. I really hope this was... Though I bookmarked this because of the quote. I really hope this is a sign the pendulum is slowly swinging back. I don't think it's swinging back, guys. Like, you can't remove women from the video game industry now. And that's what it would take for the pendulum to swing back. Even though, like I said, this did very well. And maybe if they want money, they will bring this back. But I don't see it happening. This is actually, though, the topic today kind of leads into this, which I saw this is from PC Gamer by Joshua Woolens, Deeprock Galactic Auto Shooter nixes upsetting Die Like Your Mother Did voice line so as to not remind some players of tragic events in their life. And this is the thing that, like, what the hell? I see the Dwarf Theme Vampire Virus is yanking out one of its most questionable voice lines at patch notes for the game's something hotfix. Release Tuesday. The gang at Funimation announced they'll be nixing the Die Like Your Mother Did line that the dwarves sometimes shout as they mow down enemies. Which, kind of a cool line, in my opinion. Kind of shows their sort of irreverence and their kind of harshness. They're supposed to be dwarves, kind of gruff. That's what you kind of get when you picture a dwarf, It's kind of like Gimli from Lord of the Rings, He's a bit rude, a bit gruff, doesn't mince words. So something like this really kind of fits in with that theme of Deeprock Galactic, which is about dwarves going through mines, surviving. But some people decided to remove it. You gotta admit, the line is oddly specific for a generic bark your dwarves. And this guy is... What is he doing? Reactions were, as you'd probably expect, are split. On one hand, some players are pointing out the line's continued presence. And the standard GIG suggests mountains being made out of molehill. One comment on the PC Gamer subreddit user said the original still has this line. Had it for years without any issue whatsoever. Others disagree. I do think a toggle would be better than outright removal, but I understand the angle. It's always been the most out-of-pocket line. Going from that spacey meatball to Die Like Your Mother Did is a pretty sharp shift. Sharper still if you've recently lost a loved one. Oh, but this is retarded, honestly. And there's another example of these sort of like little things that get removed slowly, and then you just end up with some, like, rather than having a sort of a nice harshness to it, some sort of masculinity, it just comes like, oh, it's goofy dwarf guys goofing around in the goof zone, rather than, you know, a survival game, some harshness to it, some stakes. It just doesn't hit the same. And we'll be talking about Helldivers 2 very soon. And then this was a big thing. Came out today, the demo and some voice and some video of the new Final Fantasy Rebirth. This includes, you know, a swimsuit kind of area where Aerith and Tifa. I've seen that a million times over my timeline. Sort of, they're trying to come back. Where this is an Apex Legends skin on the right here with Aerith, and of course the original, looking very beautiful. And you have guys like this. How practical is this female fantasy armor? That's what everyone wanted to know. And this is kind of, I think, an invent of the social media era. Because back in college, when like you talk to other people, maybe even in forums, I don't know if it was that different. I kind of maybe just sort of starting the seeds were being planted. But like, you talk to like another guy, like how it's so impractical. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm too busy looking at her giant tits to give a shit about whether the fantasy armor is practical or not. Like, I don't care. Like, everyone, that's the thing. Like, and normal people know that it's not about the armor. Like, no one cares about the armor. It's about her looking sexy in this fantasy armor. What are we doing here? We're appealing to male. And then, oh, you got a little skirt. Even this is more modest, but it's got a little skirt. It looks feminine. Got high. Oh, they complains about the high heels. Oh no, high heels. Look out. Yep. Oh, still crop top. Ooh. And look. Wow, great. Guys like this. It's just so weird because like, you understood like that you were a social outcast if you played video games back in the day. But you didn't argue to make video games worse for yourself because of it. Because, you know, you're already getting made fun of for playing video games. So it's like, who cares? Like, this is ours. It's mine. I don't care if, you know, some of this stuff looks kind of awkward to the public eye because the public already didn't enjoy video games to begin with. But now that they're mainstream, now you get to this kind of stuff where it's like, oh, time to virtue signal about how progressive I am, you know, how understanding I am, how much I hate this stuff. How much I hate women. And then, of course, this is what I'm talking about. Tifa. Back in form. People criticize I still don't think her breasts are big enough, but people are pretty happy with this. She's looking good. Her and Aerith looking good. And like, people, oh, is this, they've been removed? Or they've been bought back? Because originally it was a big deal for some people that this was that they had kind of nerfed her size from what they think the original was, which are probably right. So I think this is kind of in line proportion with a Japanese woman. So who gives a shit about reality? We're here for enhanced reality here, fantasy. So the more the merrier. And this was related to Helldivers. Satire. A satire on how hecking bad fascism is. And then, shut up, nerd. This is a very, very smart post by this. And this is a Helldivers Alerts, a gimmick account who, don't be a fascist. Oh my gosh, the game's satire, guys. Did you not know this? You should not generally receiving approval of conquest, genocide. Oh God, this is so... should be placed in something greater. Kindness and morality. This is so... Oh, God. What is wrong with these people? Don't be cringe, chew, just to think. Yeah, don't be cringe. This guy needs to take his own advice. And this was a big debate that was last week where people are saying, "Oh, is Star Trek Troopers satire?" Other people's called it parody because, and like Helldivers is kind of the same way. That I think the point they're making is that, you know, satire makes fun of something. You know, it like mocks it. But Star Trek Troopers and Helldivers kind of makes this looks really cool. Kind of makes fascism look pretty awesome, as these players are. You know, you're going in, you're killing bugs, you're defending your planet. You have, you know, clean streets, order in the world, and you defend it from an outside force that is trying to destroy your way of life. And of course, you know, underneath it, they do the satire like they're very expendable. That, you know, there might not that people might not care about these troops, but at the same time, you never get that impression. They do a really good job of kind of keeping the power fantasy, because it's a very important part of the game, is that you feel like you're a badass when you're fighting like these hordes and hordes of enemies. So they never go too far to like mock the sacrifice that the sort of Helldivers make. They're always kind of delivers those lines with pretty much sincerity, which is, I think, really good on the part of the Helldivers and the world they make, that the Helldivers are, in fact, you know, considered heroes, even though they're sort of part of this militaristic force. And I think that's also kind of where Star Trek Troopers kind of falls apart, because, like, I think these guys are awesome. Like, they're really cool. Like, they're bad. They're the bad guys, or secretly the bad guys. It just doesn't seem that way. And then, oh God, this was just, sometimes I struggle to start. I had to check if this was a parody account. I don't think it is. So I finally got to play the Helldivers tutorial. It's hilarious that there are people who take the game seriously. It's a reflection of their moral worldview. Again, it's like wrestling. People are like, oh, you know, wrestling's fake. You know, wrestling's fake, right? Like, yeah, we know. We just enjoy it. Get over it. And then talking about, I struggle to start playing since you basically play as colonizers, and that doesn't feel right when I have a Palestinian friend. Oh, boy. Absolute mental. Well, I mean, you see the flag, so let's move on.